You still need me. If something happens to me, certain alliances the Commonwealth has, certain stabilizing factors, are likely to become a problem. Whatever game you're playing, Pamela, I'm very much in it.
Ever since the CRM took Rick, there's been a looming danger in The Walking Dead, and that danger is when they come back. They've appeared in Fear the Walking Dead all the time. World Beyond was a show set at the CRM. In the first two parts of season 11, we've had no mention of even Rick. Yet in both, we had small mentions and foreshadowings from Lance, making it quite clear he's aware of the CRM.
A friend in high places. Someday I might need a favor, and you might be favorably inclined. So what do you say? I used some of them to send out a convoy full of supplies for that other thing.
Now it's part 3, we're 2 episodes in. Finally, they talk about Rick, and Lance straight up says,
certain alliances the Commonwealth has, certain stabilizing factors, are likely to become a problem.
We said this over a year ago on the channel, but this confirms it. Now, is there a chance he's talking about Oceanside? We never actually saw what he did at the end of episode 16, so is that what his alliance could be? Oh, it absolutely could be. The Walking Dead isn't scared of being disappointing like that. It really could just be Oceanside, but do I think it is? No. But there's silly old me putting my faith in The Walking Dead again. But what's basically happened is there's one thing, there's one change from the comics that makes this Commonwealth CRM connection so fatal. Really exciting, but fatal. Sebastian's death, obviously different to the comics. This of course saves Sebastian being the one that kills Rick or something like that, because he's dead now, he can't do that in the show, even though we've already spoken about Herschel being the one to kill Negan like that years later. Sebastian in particular being the one to do that now is written off, which is great. But the other thing this causes is a complete table turn of who the main villain is, and that's what's going to cause the CRM's essential demolition in some way. In episode 17, Lance was the villain. He's the Harvey Dent that all of our good characters are up against. But now that Sebastian is dead, we're seeing it's Pamela who's gonna become this relentless villain. We thought it would be Lance, making everything chaotic. But as it turns out, him being alive is the only thing making sure it isn't. Lance is the mouthpiece for the Commonwealth. When he inevitably dies, the Commonwealth will lose its mouthpiece to be in works with the CRM, and so they will lose their trust and their leverage. Without trust, without leverage, it's just another place the CRM will have to get rid of. They've taken down cities, they fake alliances to begin with. So in other words, Lance being alive still, him still having a position at the Commonwealth, means he continues working with the CRM, which would inevitably in years to come means the CRM will still eventually attack. But if Lance isn't in his position, if he's killed, if something happens to him, we have reason to believe with everything the shows have taught us, using their own lore, the CRM would just destroy them much sooner. I do think it's unlikely that there is a complete demolition of the Commonwealth, because although the main show is ending so that other shows can go on, the main show still has to have some kind of satisfying, meaningful close. I think it should still end with some nice conclusion, even if this does mean the CRM take Daryl to France, or Negan and Maggie are forced into New York City, and Rick and Michonne are still away. I think the ending of the main show should be that they found this place, and it is a permanent place for them to live. They just wouldn't have that 25+ year time jump that the comics had in the last issue just yet. I think that's something for when all of the stories have been resolved in years to come. So that could just mean that when Lance dies, Pamela can't deal with whatever the CRM do. Daryl, Negan and Maggie go on their own missions because of whatever repercussions happen from dealing with the CRM. I mean, that's obvious now. It was obvious before, but this confirms it. This should prepare you enough now. Now, this reminds me of that weird leak we heard months ago that didn't really come to fruition, but again, we still haven't seen the ending of the show, so it could be. Andrew filmed scenes for season 11 of The Walking Dead. We catch up with Rick Grimes during a firefight. Rick Grimes gets shot during the final season, not to death. Obviously, our clothes were rigged for gunshot scenes involving Rick Grimes. Test footage of Andrew Lincoln in season 11 does exist and is coming our way. Images of Andrew's rigged clothing exist and are coming their way too. That weird leak basically suggested that in the final episode, Rick would return and get shot. Not killed obviously, just shot. Now that's all weird and I don't like leaks, but if Rick does appear, I think that's how it would be. If CRM soldiers and a big walker herd are sent to the Commonwealth, Rick could likely be one of the soldiers that go there, yet he sees someone familiar. That's when he takes his helmet off and reveals this is what he's been doing. I do think that is the most likely for Rick appearing, aside from the last scene being him waking up at the CRM just after he arrived. It would be obviously a flashback showing how the first episode of the Rick series will start. Something like that is so likely now. Either way that happens, Lance is the thing that brings the CRM closer to the Commonwealth, which makes Rick returning and reuniting that much more closer. Norman Reedus has recently revealed that he's going to be taken by force. He just ends up in France. So it's obviously going to be a CRM thing that takes him, which is likely why Maggie and Negan go to New York. Herschel and Annie, Negan's pregnant wife, are taken to New York by the CRM. This is quite obvious. I think it's interesting that the narrative is shifting massively. The whole thing with The Walking Dead since Rick left is it's Rick imprisoned at this dark city away from his family, but now you've got Daryl being taken to another country with this completely different monster of a zombie. Norman also said about there being castles and moats of castles and stuff in his spin-off, which it just sounds so cool. Like I've said, I'll link you to a video where I talk about this more, but I'm so looking forward to Daryl's one more than the other ones. Rick and Michonne series, I'm getting red flags, to be honest with you. Warning signs that it's not going to be the big return that you'd really hope it would be now that it's being marketed as a Rick and Michonne love story. It was meant to be a Rick project. It will be amazing to see Andrew Lincoln as Rick again either way. That's a 10 out of 10 already. I didn't like season 8 of the main show, but I just loved Andrew Lincoln acting as Rick, so that's in the park already. I'm just more worried about the cringe. The Daryl show though, new walkers, new country, new showrunner. What could possibly go wrong? Even if it's shite, it's new, it's exciting. Rick is my favourite Walking Dead character in the TV universe, but I do think Daryl is the face of it. So to see this familiar Walking Dead character get chucked into this completely different zombie world, I think it's going to be really, really good and exciting. Again, I'm going to link you to the video where I talk about all these shows and what I expect to see from them, and what I think, what I'm most excited for. I don't want to go into the Negan and Maggie one right now, because you know what I'm going to say. But what do you think? How do you think the main show will end? How do you think we will first see Rick? Why does Daryl really go to France? And what will really become of Lance's work with the CRM? Let me know what you think down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.